Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the series. We're building project finance structures that generate circular references. This is the fourth and last video of the series. In the first one, we learned how to build the IDC, or interest during construction. In the second video, we went through the debt sculpting. In the third video, we learned the part of the debt service reserve account that generates the circular reference. And today, we're going to tie up together and build the macro and the structure that will solve all the circular references at once. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up if you learned anything from today's video. Let's gonna get started. This is where we have stopped in our third video. And if you have not seen the previous video, if you don't have the Excel file, you can click on the link below and download it. Again, there's two ways you can do it. The first one is to download the start version for free. We're going to be able to build on your own everything that we have done in this series. Or if you want to support the channel, you can also buy it and get every single file that I have done for the 4 videos. I'm going to start here by copying the DSRA sheet by selecting Control and dragging with my mouse to the right side. I'm gonna rename it as final. That's cool. So I'm gonna go over here, and what we're gonna do now is just build a structure that will support you in solving all the circular reference without you have to go back and forth as we did in the previous video. So that's gonna be a pretty straightforward one. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna add a couple of rows. I'm gonna press Control plus, and I'm gonna copy this one here. And I'm going to say here we're going to have a macro manager. That's what we're going to have here. So the first thing we're going to have here, we're going to bring here our total project cost. Cool. What is it? This is going to be equals to this number here. So this is our total project cost as it stands for now. The $6.1 million. 0 and an in sheet. Cool. And what we're going to have? We're going to have to bring our debt and equity. So I'm going to just copy. Let me copy these numbers in here for now. Control C. I'm going to just paste it somewhere in here. And now we'll literally just drag this thing above here. I will need these numbers in here. Cool. This is going to be an USD going forward now. That's very nice too. So the next one, what we're going to do, we're going to have here some calculations. The first thing I'm going to have here, we're going to have a calculated number. We're going to have the max allowed. Then we're going to have our applied. And we're going to understand why we're going to have these numbers in here. So that's what we're going to have here. I'm just going to increase the width of this max allowed. Cool. So what's going to be our calculated values in here? So let's see. That's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be equal to this number here times this one here. I'm going to press F4. I'm going to press F4 once here, and I'm going to paste this below. These are the numbers we have, so let me just format everything here. So these are going to be all comma 0. So they're going to be all calculations. Cool. So out of the 6.8 million, almost 50% is going to be debt, 50% is going to be equity. So this is the first step. What's next now? The next we have to put in here, what is the max allowed? Because remember, we have the debt sculpting. The debt sculpting tells us exactly how much debt we can take. And if you scroll down here, I'm going to press equals. And if you scroll down here, we have to go to this number here. This is the maximum number we can take, the $3.3 million. I just want to check one thing here, because this one here is referenced back here. So this is wrong actually. So I have to do one change in here. Yeah, what I'm going to do here, we don't have to reference to that number. Actually, we have to reference to this one here. We have to reference to the NPV in here. This is the number that we have to reference. Cool. And then what is the equity? Max allowed is going to be the difference, right, between this number here minus this number here. Cool. So right now everything matches because we had calculated before. But let's go back here to the 75% that we used to have before. So in the beginning, if you recall, doing our debt sculpting, we set this number here, not here, sorry, the IDC actually. We set the number to be 75%. So we're going to go back to the 75%, and that's what we have here. And what we're going to be applying is going to be the minimum of these two values, because from the that perspective, or from the bank's perspective, is going to give us a maximum of 75% debt to equity ratio. We can get 5 million as debt, but from the debt sculpting, considering the DSRA of 1.5, we can only get 3.2 million. So the one that we're going to be applying to our debt calculation is going to be equal to the minimum of these two values in here. Okay, it's going to be the 3.2. And then the difference here is going to be the total equity that we have to come up with. So that's going to say now we want to change the number here from 1.5 to 1.3. Then of course we're going to be able to get more out of our debt sculpting, but still we're going to be way below the total maximum debt of 75%. So that's usually the way the banks are going to tell us. They're going to say, look, I can lend you a maximum of, let's say, 80% of your total project capital needs, but we're going to cap you on a DSCR of 1.3. So if you have a very strong cash flow, let's say here we're going to have 1 million per each quarter, then essentially you're going to be able to grab the 80%, as you can see here. So now the max applied is the 5.5, which is the 80%. So this is the balance the banks are going to play with you. So let's going to go back here to the 75%. Let's go back here to the, where is it? The 700,000 K here. Cool. So that's what we have now. So we have the structure here. What we have to do now is to start building the macro. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get these applied numbers, and I'm going to Control C. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to link it Alt ES. I'm going to link it here. Basically, I just reference back there. So I'm just going to format it properly. There we go. And now what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we are going to use this cash here equally in here, so that we have the 6.8 million that we need. This is going to be exactly the sum that we have in here, the 6.8 million. So how we're going to do it now, I just have to say that this is going to be equal to this number here, divided by the sum of these numbers. So I'm just going to get the percentages in here. I'm going to press Ctrl D, select both, because that's the percentage that we are using. So just go here, just calculate the percentage for each one of the debt and the equity, right? It's no longer the 75 and 25, it's the 54, 45 now. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to say equals to this number here, press F4 3 times, this number here, I'm going to press F4 twice. And of course, the circular reference comes in because now everything is interconnected again. So we have to break the circular reference. We're going to break the circular reference right here. We're going to break it here. And what I have to do now? Now I have to basically build all the values in here. There's one more thing I have to do here, because now everything is 0. So let me just fix one thing in here. So the thing I need to do here is to say that what? Let's see how we can break this circular reference in here. We're going to say here is that equals if what? If this equals to 0, then it's going to be 0. Otherwise, it's going to be this number here. Okay, so let me close here. And the same here. Control Z, sorry. Here, and we're going to say Control D here. Cool, so that's it. So now I'm going to delete here, and everything should be fine. Of course, we have to recalculate those things in here. Cool, so what we're going to do now, we're going to come over here. And we're going to say, we're going to have a few things in here. So first we're going to have the principal again. Then we're going to have our debt. We're going to have a difference here. And you will understand what that means. We're going to have a DSRA. Then we're going to have another difference in here. Cool. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to move this. I'm going to select this. And I'm going to bring it over here. So we have our principal and our debt. Here, I'm going to say this is going to be the macro. And this is going to be the difference. So let me copy the styles now. So Control C, Alt EST. So we paste, sorry, there's something wrong. Control Z. So I'm going to just paste Alt EST format. Cool. So everything is fine now. For the macro, I just want to set this as being the macro here. Cool. And this is going to be our difference. Nice. So what's next now? Now we're going to add our DSRA in here. So I just want to copy the structures in here because we're going to need it. So this is going to be equal. So this is going to be it. So I'm going to say that DSRA is down here. correct? So this is the DSRA they want to calculate it. And this is going to be our final DSRA. So this number here, instead of, it's going to be equal to this one in here. And this number here, the that is going to be equal to this that here, the one that the macro is going to calculate. And the equity is going to be equal to this number here. Nice. Now we have to come up with the difference. So this is going to be the difference between this and this. The same here. And I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste in here. Very nice. So now what we have to do, we have to get these numbers in here and copy them here so that the difference goes to 0. So if we copy here, I'm going to paste it here. So the numbers show up in here. Now I have to copy this number in here and I'm going to have to paste it here. So we have to keep copying these things. So I'm going to copy here. I'm going to paste here. I'm going to keep pasting F4 until it goes to 0. As you can see, the numbers here are just going very close to 0. Cool. So, but now I have to fix this one here. So I have to copy and paste here. I'm going to keep pasting. It goes to 0, but now this is no longer 0. So you have to come over here and paste it out ESV, paste, and I keep pressing F4, 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 F4 until it goes to 0. Now we go here and we're going to paste it here and you keep pasting. So what we're going to do now basically is to do a macro that's going to solve this problem for us. So let's going to start doing this. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say, I'm going to get this range here. I'm going to press Alt F3 and I'm going to say this is going to be the that copy. Now I'm going to select the other one to the side. This is going to be the that. Sorry, it's going to be, I think it already saved to me. Let me rename this. So I'm going to go here, Formula Manager. So I don't want that. This should be that paste. There we go. So now it should be correct. Yes, it is. So now we're going to go over here. This is going to be our DSRA copy. And this is going to be our DSRA paste. There we go. So now I have to build up the macro. So what we're going to do here, there's one more thing I need to do. I want to calculate the difference, which I forgot. So this is going to be, I have to change this to the ABS. So you need to calculate the absolute difference. So ABS of this number here minus this one here, because we need to, everything goes to 0 together. And this is going to be equal to the sum of these two numbers in here. And let me just format it. Cool. So this is going to be the that difference. This is going to be the that difference. Not sure if I'm going to use it. This is going to be the DSRA difference. Difference. And then we're going to have a master difference here. Let me just rename this to master difference. So it's going to be equals to the sum of these two numbers in here. It's going to be the master. It's going to be the master difference. Let's gonna go now to our developers tab and see how we can start doing the macros in here. So we have the macros from the IDC. Now we're gonna have a new macro, which we're gonna call for now the dat macro. So this is the dat macro that we're gonna have, and we're gonna calculate this part of our calculation here. So I can just basically, we're gonna have the same thing. So we're just gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it in here. What are we going to do? We're going to do it to the range interest difference. Now we have to have this range here, the that difference. So that's what we have to have. The that difference goes to 0 by doing what? We need to copy the that copy and we have to paste it here. This is the that paste here. Here, instead of have the interest paste, we're going to have the that paste, and here we're going to have the that copy. So that copy. So that's what we have to have here. Let me just reduce here a little bit. Let's see if it's gonna work. I'm just gonna press paste, play, and as you can see, everything came correct. Let's gonna redo it. I'm gonna delete it. And now I'm gonna press play again, and you can see the numbers here. We go to 0. These numbers in here. So I'm gonna press play, and it went to 0. Very nice. So now I'm just gonna delete everything so you can see how that works again. But now I'm gonna already build the one that is going to be our DSRA macro. So it's going to be our DSRA macro. So what are we going to do here? We're going to do that difference. Now we want the DSRA difference to go to 0 by what? DSRA paste being equals to the SRA copy. So let's see if that's going to work. So these numbers here should change now. I'm going to press play. No, there's an error. Let's see what that is. Let's see DSRA difference. DSRA difference. Just copy and paste. I'm sure I made some mistakes on the naming. Yeah, but be that one. Yeah, now it works. There was an error in here. DSRA. What was it? Oh yeah, let me spell difference. So let me fix this one here. So let's go back here. I just misspelled the difference here. Let me just change in here just to make it correctly. A difference. Is this? No. Close. Let's see. Just want to delete here. Let's see if that's correct. Cool. It worked. Now if you go here, it goes in here, but now I have to fix the DSRA. And again, that's not really the way you want to do it. So there's an easier way for you to do it. You don't want to keep pressing one and the other, play around until it takes too much of your time. So that's not the way you want to do it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add another sub in here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to just paste it in here. And I'm going to say, we're going to name it master macro. Master macro. And what we're going to do now, we want that this master macro here goes to 0 with the master difference. So I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it. So the master difference should go to 0. And how are we going to do it? By calling the other two macros. So that macro. And by calling what is the name of the other one? The DSRA macro. DSRA macro. So let's see if that's going to work. I'm going to just delete this one in here. And we're going to just press play here. Let's see it. Yeah, sure enough, I misspelled macro. So macro here. Let's see if that's going to work now. So we're going to stop it. And let's see if I press play. Everything works fine. Yeah, it's working as you can see here. And it's still thinking. And it's taking a lot of time and I know why. So we're going to change one more thing in here. So I'm going to press escape. We're going to end. Why it takes so much time is because I set this to make it sure it's going to go to 0. And that may take a lot of time for you. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say it's going to be less or equals to 0.1. 0.1. That makes much faster the macro to run. So I'm going to copy here. And I'm going to say the same here. And the same here. Of course, I have to delete this. And now we just have to come over here and paste it here. So now it's going to be a much faster because it doesn't going to go all the way through 0, but to 0.1. So that's going to press equals. And as you can see here, the macro is running and it's just finished. Cool. So we're almost there. There's one more thing I wanted to do here just to have a fully fledged macro or micro model where you can manage all your circular reference. So the last thing you're going to do, we're going to insert a shape. So we're going to go this one here. You can plug it in here. So we're going to say master macro. That's nice. So we're going to just format it. So we're going to say it's going to be centered, going to be a bit bigger, and we're going to bold it. Nice. So this is we're going to use as a button. So another thing, we can just change the shape a little bit here just to look more like a button. Let's see what we have in here. So maybe something like this. Looks nice. We're going to right click on the button and I'm going to go now to assign macro. And the macro we want to assign to it is the master macro, correct? So we're going to press OK. And that's it. So let's going to delete it. And let's going to press the master macro again. And there we go. The macro is working. And now just have to double check to make sure everything matches. So the NPVs here are correctly. So just remember now we reference back to this value in here. Could be this one here. Doesn't really matter because they are the same. I think it's even better to reference to this one in here. So the NPV calculation is equal to this one here, which is nice. The difference here is 0. We have the difference here 0, but we can get rid of this one here. We don't need this one in here because we're also calculating all the differences in here now. We have that the drawdown equals to the principal repayment, and we have closed down our debt at the end of the tenor. So that's it. Let's going to play around a little bit more. Let's say now we're going to have an interest rate construction of 5%. If you go back here, you can see that there's no more 0 the master macro difference is no longer 0, so we're going to press master. We finished. Let's say now our investment is going to be 5.5 million, and we have to rerun the macro again. So every time we make a change in the assumptions, we have to rerun the macro no matter what. So put 50% here, nothing changes. Why nothing changes? Oh, by the way, if you put 50% here, we have to rerun the macro again, and that's it. So that's it for today. Just keep in mind what we learned. You have to ensure in your calculations that you have two ways to size your debt. The first one's through the debt to equity ratio, and the second one's through the debt sculpting. And you have to pick up the one that is the lower one, because that's going to restrict the amount of cash you can take. This is the first thing from today's video. The second thing is that because we have the DSRA and the debt sculpting, we're going to have two macros. And we're going to have to run these two macros every time and most of the times whenever we make a change in the assumptions of your model. This sets the end of the series. I hope you have enjoyed. Please leave your comments in the comment sections and let me know if you'd like to learn anything else. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.